Welcome back to the channel. I'm actually back home now in Suffolk, or on my dad's driveway, after spending the last couple of months just touring around the UK, which has certainly been eventful. If you haven't watched my previous videos, definitely worth going and having a look at those and actually seeing what I've been up to and some of the issues I've had with the bloody van and all sorts of other things that are going on. But right now I'm back in Suffolk, and while I'm here over the next few weeks, I'm basically planning to get the van done. So I've been in the van on and off now for over a year, and I kind of got it to a point where I was ready to use, and I went off and I enjoyed it, and I've experienced van life for sure over the last year. So yeah, over the next couple of weeks you should definitely expect to see a lot more van related content, particularly with getting the van done. I mean, I'm hoping to get the van painted, I need to get the worktop done, I need to get some painting done and some maintenance work done on the inside. The bloody van has got a load of lights up on the dash at the minute, which I need to get sorted out as I travelled home from Cumbria a couple of days ago. So all of that will be featured over the next few weeks on the channel. Looking further forward than that, at the end of July, myself and a few other friends who have all got vans are basically planning a mammoth summer trip to Wales. So that'll be a bit of everything really, camping related, van life related, mountain bike related, just what we get up to in the van. So you've got all that to look forward to over the next month or couple of months at least. So, but before I do any of that, I thought while I was travelling home from Cumbria, it'd be good to make a video about the things that I've kind of learned, if you like, about living in the van, and particularly the things I hate about van life and the things I absolutely love about van life. So that's what this video is about. Shouldn't take too long. I quickly made a list on my phone. I made a long list, to be fair, and I cut it down to the top 5 loves and the top 5 hates. So let's get into it, shall we? So getting the negatives out of the way first, so we can finish the video on a high with the things that I certainly love about van life. Number 1 on my list is finding park ups. I know that's a bit of a funny one, but if you're settled in a place for a couple of days, you can find a park up nice and early, you can enjoy it for what it is. But I have a terrible habit of enjoying my day somewhere, not being able to park where I've parked, or not actually liking where I've parked up for the day, and then driving into the evening to try and find a park up. Now, that's the worst. Like, trying to find a park up at about 8 o'clock at night when it's getting dark and you're getting stressed and everywhere says no camping, no overnight parking.
You can't park there, Dave. You park too close to a council-owned installation. It's part of my duties as an environmental hygienist to advise you of the law.
It just stresses me out. I think that's what it is. And I'm terrible for not staying anywhere for like more than a day. I'm just up and off, which is probably my mistake. Over the last year or so, the only place I've ever been kicked off, right, was literally half a mile down the road from where I am now, from where I live and where I was brought up, by some yuppie beep that had probably only just moved here as a holiday retreat. So, but everywhere else I've parked up around the UK has been pretty good from the locals, other than the odd spot where you get people on their bloody horns hammering past. I actually find a lot of the time the best time, if you can get away, if I don't have the dogs, is actually parking in plain sight. Is parking in a row of cars in a street, because once you're in this van, particularly my van, you'd never know anyone was in it once the lights are off and the curtains are up, which is quite nice. Yeah, that's my pet niggle. Finding park ups is a pain in the arse, particularly in England and Wales, because for some reason the little parish councils in England and Wales seem to bloody hate camper vans and people stopping overnight. But Scotland is brilliant for it. They're so open for it, and that's why, from what I hear, Europe is pretty good as well. So yeah, that's number 1, finding park ups. Number 2 is, I've written this, van life in the rain, and I've put in brackets on my phone, with dogs. So I don't have an awning or anything, and I have 2 like fully grown Labradors that stay in the van with me. So if you're out on a walk or on a hike or biking or whatever you're doing out in the van, or you even just let the dogs out, and it's hammering down with rain, it's a pain in the ass because you're throwing everything back in the van. The dogs are soaking wet, you can't dry them out there because they're just getting wet again, and you're getting wet. So the whole van becomes wet and it just becomes an absolute nightmare. So unless you've got an awning and you're parked up somewhere for a few days where you can let the awning dry out before you put it away, then number 2 on my list is I think is definitely a worthwhile shout. So yeah, number 2, van life in the rain with the dogs. It is a pain in the ass, especially when you're up in Scotland and it's raining for like 2 weeks at a time, like it was a couple of weeks ago. Number three is emptying the waste. Now, I've written here toilet and grey water, so black water and grey water, toilet being black water, grey water being anything from the sink. The reason I put that on here is because I have only ever been to a campsite once for one night, and that was in Wales it was a campsite near Bike Park, Wales, because it was Merthyr Tydfil, and there seems to be no places there which are easily to park up off grid and park up out of the way, so I just put the campsite. Other than that, I've never ever stayed on a campsite. Now that makes life a bit difficult for me sometimes, because emptying the toilet, I literally use that toilet if needs must. I mean, it's an absolute emergency situation if I need that toilet. Otherwise, I'll be using public toilets. I'll go into restaurants or I'll do that. But emptying, once you use it, you've got to empty it. And the odd campsite will let you pay a bit of money and just to empty the waste and refresh it, which is brilliant. There's a few places in Scotland that I've done for that, I've used for that, and they've been really, really helpful. Otherwise, a mate of mine has got an outside toilet, and I actually end up using it to empty it when I'm home. I find it a bit of a pain in the ass. The same goes for the grey water. There's nothing worse than people emptying their grey water on the side of the road or into like the drains on the road or anything like that. It's not right, is it? So again, try and use a campsite for it. What I've done recently is actually I've got a load of the 5 litre water bottles in the back, and I actually end up draining them into them, keeping hold of them, and then just finding a suitable place to drain them, which is often the toilet or a sink drain or something like that. Right, number 4, I think every van person is definitely going to agree with, and it is changing the bed sheets. Changing the bed sheets is another massive pain in the ass. I mean, look, my bed is probably not too bad, it's quite big, but climbing in there, particularly, I mean, I hate changing bed sheets anyway. I hate changing bed sheets in my dad's house, in my proper bed, or anywhere. It's just not me. There must be a technique. I don't know how like people that work in hotels do it as much as they do, because it is the worst job in the world. So yeah, changing my bed sheets, I don't know how to explain that. It is just a pain in the backside. Anyone who's got a van, well, a bed in their van, especially a fixed bed in the van like this, I'm hoping can understand. Again, let me know what you think about that. So yeah, that brings me to number 5 in the things that I don't necessarily like about van life. This one's going to be a controversial one. this might blacklist me on the van life community. So we'll see how this goes. Number 5 is the fake community. I went there. Now, what I mean by the fake community is there's a few things I've come across over the last year. So I'll give you my examples of the fake community and we'll go from there. So Instagram's great. Van life is all over Instagram. Some people have made a lot of money and done well and got a huge following on Instagram through van life, which is great, really, really good for them. But what annoys me more than anything else about that is you'll get these people that will like 50 of your posts purely so you follow them back. They'll like 50 of your posts, but they won't follow you. So that is just, they don't care about your posts. They're just following or liking your posts in the hope that you follow them. And if you look, most of the time they'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 followers on Instagram, but they'll be following 20 people. So it's all a popularity contest, and I don't like that. I'm not in it for the popularity contest. I do it because I like making videos. When it's my Instagram account, it's to promote my YouTube channel. This is what I like doing. So it's not even about van life for me. I just like making videos, as you've seen over the last few weeks. There's also people, controversial, there's a lot of people over the last, not in the last year or so, before that, have like these people with 100,000 followers who have asked me for their help and stuff, and I'll help everyone, and I have helped them. And some of them made the newspaper and done really well out of it as a business, but they're all just in it for themselves. And I mean, I'm not a glory hunter. I don't look for shout outs or anything, but they've claimed a lot of their work as their own. and it's just not. They're just lying, to be honest with you. So yeah, I've also heard all sorts of people slag other van lifers off who are friends with them, and all. It's just the fake van life community is very cliquey, and I'm not a part of that clique. To be fair, that's why I don't go to a lot of the van life festivals and stuff. I don't attend all that because I don't want to be branded as that. I'm not a YouTuber. I have a go at making videos, and I just film what I do. I'm not filming it to be part of any clique. I'm doing it for myself. So very, very controversial statement, I know, but it does get me, and that's why I don't do my part in that. I just do me, and I will continue to do me. I'll continue to make videos, I'll continue to film the van, I'll continue to film what I'm doing in the van, as well as anything else I'm doing. So yeah, number 5, the fake van life community, because you know who you are. Right, that very swiftly brings me on to the things I love about van life. That last one actually brings me quite nicely onto number 1, which is the genuine van life community. Now, over the last year, I have met some awesome people. Like, I've met some really, really good people. I've helped a lot of people in their vans. I've gone to see them. I've helped them out with bits and pieces. I've met some genuine people of all ages. People that were like in their early 20s, right up to retired people who live in their vans full time. I've kept in contact with so many of these people along the way. It's just, I've chucked up a few pictures you see now. I'll cut them into the video. That's just some of the people that I've met over the last year. I've made some like real friendships, and I've made some plans. Even the 2 guys that I mountain bike with, Dan and Sam, I met them through van life. Sam was building a van, he's got a crafter, and then Dan's got a motorhome, so I helped him with that. All the van life community, and there are some awesome people out of it, and the more you do it, the more you get out and explore, and the more open you are to talking to people, the more people you'll meet, and it's just an amazing experience. So yeah, I know I said in the last one the fake community, but the best thing about van life is the real community. It's just, I've had issues with my van, and I've had friends who had issues with their van, and they've just been helped out by other van lifers. So yeah, there's a genuine, really, really, really good community. So definitely number 1 on the things that I love about van life. Right, so moving on. Number 2, the second thing that I absolutely love about van life is, this is an obvious one, the views, the freedom, and the road. Excuse me. So the views, I mean, if you watch my videos, you've been watching my videos over the last year or 2 years, however long I've been making these videos, you'll see some of the places I've stayed. I mean, I've stayed at some awesome places. People pay millions of pounds for houses on these seafronts and these mountainous views. Like, if you're in your van, you can literally park up on the road, and that's your view. Like, that's what you're looking out to in the morning. That's what you're looking out to when you're having dinner. Like, it's unreal. The views are incredible. Some of the park ups that you find are incredible. The freedom is incredible. Like, I look at houses now as prisons, which is really bad. I probably should buy another house, but I'm just not interested when I'm in the van. So I can go and park anywhere. Most of the time I can work from the van. I've got Wi-Fi in the van. It's just, yeah, like this weekend I can just get in my van and head wherever I want. So it's pure freedom. Other than fuel being ridiculously expensive, it's a relatively cheap lifestyle. It's just great. So yeah, the views and the freedom is definitely number 2 on my list of van life. Which brings me nicely on to number 3, which is actually the cost. So other than fuel, you think I haven't got to pay, I'm totally off grid in my van. My solar panels do everything. In fact, I've got too much power in my van. I've over-egged it on the batteries and the solar. I never ever get low of electricity. I'm sitting at like 14 volts right now, so I'm not using it, but it never drops below like 12.6 volts. I never get below about 70% power. Even in like 2 weeks of dullness, it stays level. So water's cheap. You can just, I'd bung someone a fiver sometimes, or most churches or village halls have got taps. I tap into those or leave a donation. So water's cheap. Fuel's hideously expensive. We all know that. I won't dwell into that because that's another bloody political nightmare. But yeah, other than a bit of food, bit of gas, which is not that expensive, and fuel, it's a really, really cheap lifestyle. So that's another good thing. I don't pay council tax. I don't pay rent, pay a mortgage. I don't pay anything other than fuel from a van and a bit of gas. So yeah, cheap. Definitely the best thing. One of the best things about van life. Right, so number four on my list is, I'm sure a lot of people will agree with this as well, you've got to agree with this if you've got one, is the Truma combi boiler. That thing is so good. Like when I put it in, I was humming and hawing about diesel heaters. I was looking for these tankless water heaters and stuff, which are only suitable outside. There's all sorts of dodgy things going on. The only negative with the Truma combi boilers, they're expensive, but they are so good. Like I can literally come in here, flip the gas on, set the temperature like in the van to whatever I want, and within 5 minutes the van's toasty. To be fair, I'll put the kettle on and the van gets hot, but it's so quick, it just fires up, silent, the van's lovely and warm, even through the winter months. It's just, it's good. Also, it works like a heat exchanger, so if the it uses the tank inside it, it heats the water in the tank, and then it circulates the air around it to heat the van. So within 10 minutes of putting the water heater on, the water's hot, it holds 10 litres. That's enough for me to get a shower, then another 5 minutes to warm up again, then someone else to get a shower. So yeah, the Truma combi boiler is a godsend. Staying with friends who have got diesel heaters, who have got other forms of heating, I just don't think they compare to that Truma. So the most expensive thing I bought for the van was that Truma combi boiler, but without a doubt, it is one of the best things that I bought for the van. So highly, highly recommended. And this is not a sponsored video, by the way. That's just me giving my opinion. So yeah, the Truma combi boiler. Number 5. So finally, on my top 5 things that I love about van life is, it's a bit of a funny one, it's my own space and I own it. I don't have a mortgage. Like, this is my house. I own it outright. I don't owe any money on it. This is my space. No one can take this away from me. I can move my own house wherever I want it. And I love it. If I stay in a house, if I stay in my dad's house, or stay in anyone else's house, I don't sleep very well. I find it really uncomfortable. And there's something about staying in the van. Like if I go to friends' houses, I stay in their driveway, because why wouldn't I? This is my space. You own it. I mean, unless you've done really, really well for yourself, or you've got rich parents and you've managed to buy a house outright, but then you're paying your ridiculous bills for the next however many years on staying in that house. It's just a mindset, isn't it? It is an absolute mindset, and my mindset now is towards freedom and just having this as my space and being able to take it wherever I want to go. So yeah, I own it. It's great. I'm not 65 mortgage free. I'm 32 mortgage free in a van. So yeah. Without a doubt, that is definitely my top 5 things I love about van life. So yeah, let me know what you think. Give me your opinions on those views and give me your top 5 loves and hates about van life if you've got them. It's definitely worth chucking them in the comment section, because I reply to every comment that I get on all my videos, good or bad. I don't mind. I have a laugh. So yeah, chuck it in. Let me know what you think, and then see if we can have a bit of a healthy discussion about the loves and hates about van life. So yeah, thanks for watching. You know what you got to look forward to over the next few weeks on the channel. So we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Woo!